You're watching Oilersnation Radio.
This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
We added music this time.
And we saw the ding. So you know when the episode starts.
Ty Guy's making a mosaic of audio right for your ear holes.
See if you can pick out every episode what the new element I add is. And there's going to, I think it'd be funny. I won't even say it.
By the time Tyler's done with what he wants to do, the intro will be the podcast and we'll just leave.
I was going to say, I'm curious to see how long he can do this for. Where are we at 10 episodes from now?
I know.
The bit is really going to have to pick up once you get a little.
Yes.
Well, Liam's sassy today.
Both of you, you and Dan, took your bits for well over a year. You did yours for a couple. You did yours for a good $1.50,
500.
but then turned it into like a lifestyle.
Yes.
The
You're
4-2
not
thing?
eating beats anymore, but you're still running.
Oh, well, I've had many bits that I've beaten to death.
Yeah.
Well,
Bagged
beats
milk
at
being
least
one of them.
Yeah, Bag Milk, I started at 19, still kicking.
Beats at least lasted for a couple of years.
That one lasted about 5 years total. The 4-2 win thing that I did every game, that was probably 6 or 7 years I did that.
See, that one a lot of people would not have noticed.
The ones who did, though, they got mad. And now my favorite is when I write GDBs for the weekend games, which I've done for the last handful of years. My new blowout bit that I'm doing, that one makes people way more angry, which I think is funny. Yeah, it's going to be 12-1. Okay.
Hey, you almost got one last game.
Especially like, I imagine like a fan of another team being like, I wonder what the Oilers bloggers are doing. Then he looks and is like, oh yeah, you think the Oilers are going to win 9-2, hey? It's like, hell yeah, bro.
I just like the whole article is probably like regular, like really like down to point, and all of a sudden, like, what's the prediction? Oh, 12-1.
Well, at the end of the day, picking a score prediction is so arbitrary. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
So sure, like I'd like to get it right. And when I was doing 4-2, at least 3-4 times a year, I'd get it right. But this one is just way more funny because now the people who are complaining about 4-2, they really don't like 8-1.
I work for, I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast, but I used to work for a company that was writing articles for the New York Islanders. And we got fired for making a prediction of that the Islanders were going to lose to the Penguins 6-1 in that game. And then the writer also called Rick DiPietro often injured. And that at that time, he was still just kind of figuring out his injuries. So we got fired before the game started. Game played on, whatever. They had to play out their contract. Turns out they lost the game 6-0.
Huh. Didn't get the one.
Didn't even get their one goal that we gave him credit for. But yeah.
Did DiPietro get injured?
He didn't. He never came back. He never played another game after that. But the GM was very upset about how we characterized Rick DiPietro.
Is he still on payroll?
No, 2022, I think, was the last year. I just looked it up for the bit there with Waz.
The other guy is, though, Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonino.
Rick DiPietro's contract outlived the owner that signed it. Charles Wang died before the DiPietro contract
Rest
ended.
in peace, Charles.
Which is morbid, I know, but
also true.
Who else is the long ones we got? Like Brizgalov's still on the Flyers payroll, is he not?
yeah, Mike Richards is on the Kings. I think LeCavalier is still maybe on the Bolts.
I love it. Yeah. I wonder when those get paid out. Do you think that are regular intervals or like July 1? They just get a check for $2 million bucks?
I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, that's what the Bobby Bonilla day was, wasn't it? That's when he would get his check.
Yeah, Mike Richards has 3 more years after
Bobby
this one.
Bonilla still goes into like 2035 or something like that.
I think it's 2027. Maybe.
Come on, you're the computer guy.
Yeah, the Google machine.
Devils and Ilya Kovalchuk would have been passed on, right?
That'd be a long one.
Yeah, that was a 13-year deal.
2035. Holy shit.
He still has another 10 years.
2035 is just like, all right. How much did he get? $1 million bucks?
Dude's been out of the league for that. It's got to be like, if it ends in 2035, I'm guessing he probably signed that in like 01 or something. That is like 34 years.
So I know they did it as a way because it was like a contract buyout and the Mets didn't want to just cut him one big check. So this was like his shrewd piece of negotiating. I'm curious, like with inflation, who won? Was it smarter for the Mets to do that, or was it smarter for Bonilla to?
Oh, with inflation, definitely smarter for the Mets for sure.
Right.
$1 million bucks then is not $1 million bucks now.
Unless you put it into Bitcoin.
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking.
Did you hold
There's
on?
that player on the Carolina Panthers who?
Yeah,
Russell Acuna.
Okung took $6 million of his contract. So he's at $13 million, I think it was. So he's like, I want 6 of it. in Bitcoin.
What year?
No, wasn't it 20,000? His contract was 6.
No, it was worth.
No.
Bitcoin was worth 20 grand at the time.
Okay.
So he took half of his contract.
So he took
6
4x
million.
his money.
So 6 million is now worth over 20.
Sick.
And he tweeted about it today. Is that everyone said this was a dumb idea. Look at me now.
That's
Super Bowl champ.
And then there's the guy who bought pizza with
The one
10,000 Bitcoin or something like that. And then 10,000 Bitcoin. I believe they said it would be worth like 850 million right now. So he had one pizza worth $850 million. And how long ago was that? That was 5 years ago.
No, that was longer.
It was 2019.
Really?
I'm pretty
There's
sure.
a guy in Turkey. This was a few years ago. Professional soccer player who signed his contract in Bitcoin.
No, it was
So I
2010,
want,
right?
he's like, I want to be paid in Bitcoin. And at the time, everyone was like, you're a moron. And now I don't even remember the player's name. Now he's an 80 millionaire.
There's a bunch of instances like that are that amazing. Like another one that I've always loved is not a Bitcoin thing, but David Cho, he's an artist and he painted the original Facebook office. And like the fee they were going to pay him was like 50 grand or something like that. And he goes, you know what? I'll just take it in stock. And they go, for real? Okay. Cause like it was just a paper transaction for them. And then that stock ended up being worth $200-300 million.
Damn.
I love those stories. Sometimes you got to make a bet. We'll talk about that later.
At least you didn't paint the office picture.
With the sun coming from the wrong side. Yeah.
Too many shadows.
Yeah. Too many shadows are incorrect.
What's
Lack of perspective.
The office.
Yeah. The Office.
Stanton Branch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember
Where
that one.
there's like shadows coming from every window. And Dwight points it out. He's like, there's shadows everywhere.
Michael hung it on the wall. Anyway, we got a podcast to do. Mostly Oilers adjacent.
For now.
Good for 7 minutes.
Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
we got a delicious debate. You prepare yourself. First, I'm going to tell people that we are pumped. The Nation Network is fired up about their partnership with Odd Company Brewing to bring you the brand new Nation beer. Tyler's holding one up now. If you're watching the video, he's pretending to drink. But later, during the big game, Edmonton versus New York, Tyler's probably going to have a fresh one. Cold one. They're crispy.
That's the
Two locations in Edmonton for Odd Company Brewing, or you go to Liquor Connect and find a liquor store near you that is selling it. And if that liquor store does not sell Nation beer, you got to ask them what they're doing with their lives. Poor choices. Bring in Nation beer. It's delicious. Turn it over to Tyler. Delicious debate for Tuesday is...
We talked about this on Real Life very quickly yesterday, but I thought it'd be a fun one to throw to the whole group. What team do you enjoy beating the most?
Oh.
So while you guys are thinking,
interesting.
I love watching Vancouver fans unhappy. Over the last handful of years, they become insufferable. So watching the Oilers stomp them on Saturday night was very enjoyable for me for multiple reasons.
Funny thing is, not the team. You just like watching their fans.
Yeah, the fans.
But that means I like watching the Oilers beat the Canucks the most because I'm a fan and I like seeing the other fans freak out.
So another point, like, because Calgary's the other one, but then at the same point, like, it's not the same. Flames fans are just like, they're kind of like, whereas Vancouver, they're like, they lose it.
So there's a lot of emotion between those two. So I agree with you there. But then there's one team out there particular that kind of just thinks they are head and shoulders above everybody else and head and shoulders and then some. So when we walk into Toronto and then Connor scores a goal and throws the finger up and then gets the waggy finger in front of all their, $1 million people sitting in the close seats, I really enjoy that.
Jay
It's hard
gave
not
that
to
answer too.
Yeah, Jay gave the exact same answer.
Yeah. It's just, they think they are so far ahead of everybody and they're better than everybody. And they got that new coach and the new coach is going to fix Martin. He's going to fix Nylander. He's going to fix everything. And it's done nothing. And then the Oilers just go in there and get the guy that's supposed to be going to Toronto here in a couple minutes. Like he's going to sign in Toronto. I'm pretty sure it's next Thursday. He ain't going there. And he scores that goal, walks around your best defenseman and then does the finger wag to the crowd and leaves and just says, you know what? It's really fun to win here and leave. That's really nice to hear.
Rick Pick in Toronto, Nation Dan, what you got?
Same kind of thread as you, Rick, but it's home games for me, and it's home games against the Montreal Canadiens.
I don't go.
That is just the best fan base that travels. I know they're all dying. I know.
I was going to say, Dan, that's their last time watching hockey.
Exactly. And that's why I like to make them lose even more. No, as a guy that I've traveled to a few arenas and one of them was Montreal and I was there by myself, and Montreal fans are vicious. They and Oilers at that time were not very good. and they were just merciless with us. And we ended up winning in overtime. And I stood up, and I've heard more tabernacles in my life. Never heard more tabernacles in my life than that moment.
You want to piss them off? Tell them Costco has better hot dogs in their arena.
Well,
It's not true.
I don't. Yeah, first of all, I do need to try one of their hot dogs because they are like legendary.
yes.
At the arena?
Yeah. They got the special bun and everything. Man.
For real?
I was in the all you can eat section in Montreal when I was there.
Okay, I'm down for a dog.
They had just a hot dog bar at the press area for the draft when I was there. I swear to God, I was eating 4 to 5.
I
of them a day.
remember this now that you ate a bunch of hot
I had
dogs.
so many hot dogs.
They're known for their dogs somehow.
I will be a glizzy gobbler.
So
if I
yeah, the
ever
fact
get
that they can travel really well, that's I think I like
That's
to
it.
see Habs fans.
They don't travel really well.
The fans do,
No, their fans aren't traveling.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're just embedded here.
but it's still traveling.
So then the
They
Habs show
live
up.
here. They just break out their Montreal jersey once a year,
And then when
dust
they
it
leave-
off, then hang it back up and put their Oiler jersey back on.
Liam, who you got?
I do love being Vancouver, but that's a new one for me. I really enjoyed being the LA Kings the last couple of years because I feel like they really, really get up for that game and we still beat them. So I enjoy that. And also Vegas because I feel like those wins are more earned than given.
I don't think I would have either Toronto or Montreal even in my top 3. I think Vancouver's number 1 just because of the reaction and like their fan base operates with this arrogancy. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. They operate
Arrogance.
Yeah, with this arrogance. There you go. For
no reason.
For no reason.
You've
So
won nothing.
So when the Oilers beat them, it's like to see them go into full panic. Like they should be reacting more like Flames fans to me. Number 2 for me would probably be Vegas, just because that building, and again, we have a bit of a history with them now, and even just like the logo and the jerseys, they have this like evil empire vibe about them that like you feel like the good guys when you beat Vegas. When you beat the hell out of Calgary, it's kind of like, expect whatever. When you beat Vegas, it almost feels like every team in the league's like, got them. Like they're quickly becoming the enemies. So
I think for me, it's about this fan base suffering. Because when we go to Vegas, I just find them to be so friendly.
yeah,
They
they
could be
always
0
are.
for 82. They're not suffering. They live in Vegas.
Yeah, and like we've gone there and we've seen them, the Oilers lose. Well, most of the time we've seen them
We've
lose.
seen them win.
We've also seen them win, and then the fan base is just like, I hope you guys have a good time. Don't drink too much out on the strip.
I remember that first year we traveled for the playoffs when we went to LA,
Yeah.
and it was vicious.
Yeah.
Like fans coming up to you at the urinal, like all this stuff. And then I remember going for the first game in Vegas, and like the first person we talked to was like, boy, it's going to be a great series. And
That's
I
because
was
that
like,
person's from Saskatchewan.
yeah, fair. But yeah, okay, maybe that's a decent
So for me, I
counterpoint.
want their fan base to suffer. Players, they're getting paid. You know, they're happy
Yeah.
to be there at some point. But like the fans, I really want them to hurt when the Oilers beat them in Vancouver. I just like watching that building empty out on Saturday with
So good.
more than half a period left to play. The Let's Go Oilers chant that Captain Felton recorded for us that we posted on socials. That's the best. Because I know it hurt them way more hearing that in their building.
I was really hoping that guy who sat behind us at the game 1 was at that game on Saturday.
Me too.
And I hope he paid a lot of money to go.
Yep.
And I hope he had a terrible time.
100%.
I
And
think
that's why it's Vancouver. For me.
Yeah.
I think LA's up there for me too, just because like you kind of said, Liam, like we own them,
Yeah,
and it's so
awesome.
nice. I watched that Red Sox documentary that was on Netflix.
So good.
It was so good. And
So good.
when Pedro was like doing the whole daddy thing, it's like, man, as an Oilers fan going into LA, it's great to be someone's daddy. Like
How
we
old were
just
you
own
for
them.
that?
I would have been
2004.
7. So like,
So you really didn't experience it. Like you saw it, but you didn't really see it.
yeah. So what was actually fun watching the
It was
documentary is
So good.
I knew the outcome, but I didn't know how many storylines were in there. Amber didn't know the outcome. So when we're going through the doc, there's that first playoff series that they lose in game 7, right?
Yeah,
Aaron Boone hits the home
hits
run.
the home run.
Amber
Yeah,
thought the
great.
documentary was about how the Red Sox win that game. So her jaw was on the floor. She was like, they don't lose, right? I'm like, no, yeah, they lost, Amber. It was a great, highly recommend. But anyways, we're the King's daddy.
So I was just, we're taking it aside here
Yeah.
because that documentary is so good.
I
And
hate the Red Sox
Me too.
but there were like 3 players that I kind
but then hearing all the behind the scenes stuff
Kurt
and like
Schilling's a dick.
when Pedro's just like, who do you want me to hit? And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's dope.
I was just like, I know that stuff happens, but when he's just telling the story about it happening, I'm like, man, this is the best.
But when
I
you
love
hear
it.
that, you expect like pitcher number 7 to do that.
No, Pedro's
Not
gonna
one
go
of the best
throw
pitchers
gas
in the
at you.
league. And like, which one do you want? Like he's honest. He's true. Which one do you want? Just tell me. I'll hit him. I don't care. You're like, Jeter?
Can I flip the question?
Sure.
Is there a team that the Oilers play that you just don't care if
No,
they beat?
I want to win everything.
Islanders.
I know it probably is the Islanders thinking about it because every other team that would be like irrelevant, like obviously you want to beat Florida.
Yep.
Carolina, obviously you want to beat teams like that.
What about his secondary team?
Columbus.
Yeah, I
Gives
mean,
a shot.
see, but now they kind of have our number.
I know I kind of want to beat Columbus because they always beat us.
No,
me-
actually, they stole our damn defenseman.
Oh, Dante Fabro.
Fabro.
Yeah.
You guys are
It's also their fault that
you're an
Darnell Nurse makes 9.25 as well.
insignificant franchise. Get the hell out of the way.
I know this is not going to make any sense, but like, I don't really mind when Winnipeg wins.
Yeah, that's fair.
They've got nothing there.
I think Ottawa would be mine.
They shouldn't have any W's either.
Well, I
I feel
agree
like
with that.
Ottawa is just so irrelevant to me. And we
That's
just
because
own them so bad in that Canada year.
though.
Yeah. So like when you beat them, it's just like, yeah, whatever.
When we lose to Tampa, I'm like, well, it's Tampa.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's a more interesting question, probably.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
kind of
like.
have to
I don't
think
like.
about it a little bit more.
Also, I think part of it too, like Tampa Bay, it feels like we always play them in a matinee. So it's like
Always.
1 o'clock on a Saturday and the Oilers
It is true.
and the Oilers lose in Tampa. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get on with my life for the rest of the evening. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting question. Dan, you have anybody you don't care if they
I was
lose
just
to?
looking at the standings to see if I could drum up any emotion like that. Like, I don't even mind seeing the Blues lose. So no, I think
I don't care about Seattle.
yeah. I was thinking Seattle, but I think that just might be.
They're irrelevant to me. They
Yeah, they're-
exist, but they don't.
They're just kind of that team.
They're there.
There's a bunch of teams
They're
that are relevant.
the Minnesota Wild.
Oh, Minnesota.
That bothers me.
Yeah.
I hate the Wild, and that goes back to the old Jacques Lemaire days when we
Yeah,
were
that
fucking
goes
trapped.
back a long time.
That's ingrained in me. Manny
0-0.
Fernandez, I still hate him.
0-0 ties going in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
And Marion Gaborik, he was an Oilers killer for years.
I
with the
always-
Wild.
Wow, he was so good.
There were a
When I
lot of guys
moved
that were
here,
Oilers
because
killers back
Minnesota
then.
used to be in our division, right?
Yeah, the Northwest Division.
Wow.
And I
That's a long time
remember,
ago.
what was that guy's name? Was it like Pierre Edward Bouchard or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What,
Pierre
Belmar?
Edward Bouchard. Yeah.
Yeah, bald guy.
Yeah.
P.O.
I feel like he would
Big
always
visor
score
too. He had
against
the
us.
windshield visor.
Yeah,
and
and,
that
I,
like boxy Bauer helmet.
Mhm.
and I always thought, because I was so new talking, I was like, this guy must be one of the best players in the league. And he's like consistent, like 30, 40 point guy. Just loved to score against Edmonton.
Yeah, ripped it up against the Oilers. I just knew. I remember those days. Like, one, I hate the trap. It is the most boring style and flavor of hockey. And then two, you knew Marion Gaborik was going to score at least one or two, at least.
He was just in there with like, I'm sure it had been a couple years after, but he was in there with the Zubovs and the Forsbergs and the Sakics and Pavel Bure going back before some of you guys were born. And like, we had a handful of guys in the league that when we played against, you were like, oh shit, here we go. This guy's going to do something because he always does something to us.
This is ridiculous. Pierre-Marc Bouchard scored 43 points against the Oilers in a career, played him 49 times, didn't score more than 30 points against only one of the teams he scored 30 or more points against, which is Vancouver. Killed us. 13.
It's wild how that
goals.
just like sometimes, and it's Leon with Nashville, right? Like the Oilers play Nashville on Thursday. It's wild how just sometimes one team you just demolish
it.
and there's no good reason for it.
So from 2000 until 2010, I'm looking at players playing against the Oilers who played at least 10 games. The highest points per game was actually Peter Forsberg at 1.43.
That guy scored 100. Yeah, it was like
He was, I hate when he was like early in his career when he was still with the Avalanche before he moved on to Nashville and
After
then
his
to
foot issues.
Philadelphia. He was a monster.
He was one of the hardest players in the league to play against. This dude was as skilled as anybody out there, as tough as anybody out there, and he could not knock him off the puck. The guy was strong as
Brick
an
shithouse.
ox. It was unfair. Like there's no way you should be all those things wrapped into one.
Who's
he
the most
deserved to have
random
his
player
foot
on
hit
that
thing.
list?
Well, I just went and looked from the year 2000 until now. Nikita Kucherov has 1.81 points per game against the Oilers, leads the way. Aho second, then Forsberg.
Yeah, what's he got?
Svechnikov,
Like
Kane.
that's a game per year though. Who I wonder
2 games a year.
who in our conference, because you're gonna get more than 2 games a year.
Henrik and Daniel.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that just makes
Ah, that's
total
up.
sense.
Yeah, those guys played blindfolded too and still knew each other. Where each other were.
84 points a pop in 93 and 96 games.
I know.
Aren't there like their career points like terrifyingly close to each other?
Probably.
I think so, yeah.
Like it shouldn't be this way.
There was like they were always so even in everything.
Like you don't know if it's the twin thing or if they're actual aliens.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Maybe
probably both. Twin
So-
Twin
aliens.
aliens?
Yeah.
Henrik
on.
has 1,041 points. Oh, sorry, Daniel has 1,041 points. Henrik, 1,070 points.
Now break down their goals and assists.
Oh boy,
Because I think there's a number out there. I think they're like super duper close.
Even that is super.
I could be
you're
completely wrong, though.
So wrong.
That's used to- I'm
Games
used to that.
played is a 4. Henrik played 1,330. Daniel played 1,306. Maybe it's a plus minus. I don't know.
See, and we're not even sure
just
that's
right
true.
there.
Like Daniel could have been down and
It's true.
they just swapped and
I
nobody
couldn't
knew.
tell you. I couldn't tell you. But
Uh-uh.
what I could tell you though is 1 year ago today, the Edmonton Oilers fired Jay Woodcroft. I woke
Ooh.
up in a hotel room in
We had a
Seattle.
Bad hangover.
I look over at Tyler and he goes, "Oh man, they fired Woody." And I went, "Huh?" And if you listen to the podcast that day, the Oilersnation Radio that we recorded, Jay in his undies,
Drinking Bud Lights.
we are so hungover in that episode
Mm-hmm.
because we were just out till like 3 a.m. the night before.
What night was that?
It was after the game. We went to
After the game, we went to that
Went
little
to the
hole in the
game.
wall bar.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? And I had a helium balloon tied to me so you guys could always find me.
Is that the bar that he slightly cropped us at the whole place somehow?
No, that was Aqua.
Was that the next night?
That was the next night.
Aqua.
Oh.
No, Aqua was the next
No, that was
day.
the bar after. We went for like just
Oh,
like
yeah.
we
so
went
this
for
is-
a
This is the
nightcap.
This is the dance floor one.
Yeah.
This is where the
with
boys were on the
Gavin.
dance floor.
Yeah.
And then Jay and I had some like
And Kennedy fell.
110 proof, really thick, like toothpaste taste and stuff.
And there was people playing darts in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, we go to a bar after for a little nightcap that was midway back between the first bar and the hotel.
And something died inside Tyler.
Something
3
in
or 4
Tyler
things died inside Tyler.
crawled out.
And the next morning, you're just like, "Hey guys, that was me."
So if you're coming on the nation vacation to Denver, something to look forward to, probably.
Feed Tyler vodka sodas, please.
No beers.
No beers.
Anyway, Woody got fired. Nobby came in. How do you reflect over the last 365 days with Kris Knoblauch in, Jay Woodcroft out?
I just remember when he got hired thinking, who is this guy? I'd never heard of him before.
Everything was always Connor's guy. This is never
Yeah,
this is junior
Connor's
coach.
guy.
This is
They're
junior
trying
coach.
Connor.
That
Connor,
whole day
Connor.
until they played the Islanders the next day when Connor was like, I did not have anything to do with this, allegedly. I mean, it's hard to look back at it and not be happy.
I just don't. The coach, yes, both coaches bring something different and a lot of good, but the coaching is relatively. It's not that big of a deal. This team is good enough. They don't really need a coach.
I stand by the fact that I don't know if they go
Yeah,
cup
they-
final, but I think they're in the playoffs last year with Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then who knows, right?
Like you could literally have nobody back there on the bench. And I think this team was good enough to get through almost as far as they did. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the coaches. I'm just telling the team is that good that if they went out there and played their game the way they know they're supposed to, they'll be fine.
The interesting thing is like a lot of the same issues that got Woody fired last year happened this year, although the Oilers had some more wins that they could kind of pile up.
Just couldn't score as much this year.
So
If penalty kill and
it's funny.
goaltending are shit in the bed right now, and they're just getting a few more lucky wins.
Mhm.
Or I don't want to call them lucky, but like, you know what I mean? They're not getting as many unlucky losses.
Yes.
There you go.
There's some bounces not going against us. And we're just snake bitten. Nobody can score.
There's a lot of snake bite. I got a little bit of numbers on that later. But talking about a win, got a big one on Saturday. 7-3 beatdown in Vancouver. Our group chat, our ONR podcast group chat came alive that night when I posted a chart showing Matthias Ekholm as elite
Janmark.
beyond, or sorry, what did I say?
Ekholm.
Matthias
Matthias.
Janmark as elite, even better than Connor and Leon in that game. So saith the spreadsheet.
3
points.
apples, baby.
I'd love to go back and look through how many he's been dead last on those stupid spreadsheets.
That was right after on Friday, Liam filmed a video saying that if we were to put Janmark on a top line, it would be in Bakersfield.
Yeah, I would send him down. He's
I love it. You still own it. It's funny.
Hey, if you want him to get claimed, now's a good time to do it.
Yeah, push him through.
And bring in who?
Drake Jula. Literally anybody.
You said this about a couple guys last year.
Who?
McLeod, Fogel.
Both gone.
Both
Weren't
doing
good
really
enough
well.
to be here.
Yeah, but who do you think is good enough to be here then?
Drake Kachula.
I think Drake is, but Derek Ryan should not be on this team right now. I think Drake Kachula and Noah Phillips should be ahead of him.
This is your new Devon Shore.
It might be.
No,
Because I'm looking at Drake
Drake
Kachula's number. I go, really?
I think he's still got a good player. I don't think
I'm not saying
Yanmark's
he's
as
a bad
bad
player.
as we're making him seem, but
No, you're making him.
I also don't think he's worth, what is he, 1.4 million for 3 years?
I like Matthias Janmark. Very good, very serviceable bottom six player.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Wow.
I
You're
don't know about
leaving
that.
Liam out to dry.
Said about him.
Respect. I gotta give Nobby a
I
shout
think
out.
Liam agrees with me.
I think he's fine. I just don't think he's that good. To
Plot
be
twist.
like, he's reliable all the time. That's just not true. He's proven this season how unreliable
He's
he can
proven in
be.
his Oilers career. He's a wildly inconsistent bottom six.
He's an
player.
inconsistent, but find me
you like
a bottom six player who's not inconsistent. That's why you're bottom six.
100%. Totally agree.
Great,
I don't feel
great
that's
timeout by Knoblauch on Saturday night.
Sure.
No. I agree. My problem with it is I think teams get themselves in trouble when, and again, fans, it's whatever. When management groups fall in love with inconsistent bottom six players, you get yourself in trouble. And I just think they did that in the case of Janmark. And I do think the fan base misremembers his Oilers career because of what he did for 2
Playoffs.
weeks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In one playoff run, not even all the playoff runs.
Well, he definitely, his career as an Oiler is definitely not
Good.
what he did in the playoffs last year. Like that was definitely a step up.
Good.
But he's definitely he's a top 12 player
Yep.
on a Stanley Cup contending team.
Absolutely, he is. And the other thing too, and this is what I tweeted out the other day, is like there's always this weird like narrative from certain people in the media about him. It's like he doesn't make mistakes. You know, you can just put him out there, and it's
You
He
just
definitely
called
makes-
Greg out right now.
Oh, did he say that? He makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, there's two
He
off the
does
glass
say
that
that.
both were kept into the line and put in the net.
He should have got an assist on the second Canucks goal.
Liam is currently looking up the charts.
But it's funny though. He's gone up the glass.
feverishly ripping through all the charts for Oilers.
He's gone up the glass twice and kept it at blue line. And then Kulak went up the middle and that got knocked down. He's bad luck getting the puck out of the net.
I thought I could save you the effort.
Or
But you're looking at it.
Whoever went.
I love arguing about Matthias Janmark.
Where is
So
he on
funny.
these charts, Liam?
Nashville, he was second last year. He was won that game 5-1.
So he didn't need to be good. is what
We'll
you're saying.
check in with Liam a little bit in a bit.
As long as everyone else is
Moving
doing
on.
their job, he doesn't have to step up for them.
There you go.
Let's talk about another
Yeah,
person.
he just hangs out and he picks his nights. He goes, you know what? The boys need me tonight.
All right, first shift, you guys are looking pretty good. Second shift, pretty good. All right, you know what? I'm going to put in like a 6 out of 10 tonight.
They're gonna test you.
Down three rip in the
boys
cup
are looking like
final.
shit. All right, guys, I got this. Don't worry.
They're gonna test you.
Down 3 rip in the cup final. He's like, fuck, I haven't been trying. Shit.
Fine, you guys, I'll go do it.
The entire Janmark family has stopped listening now.
Yeah, don't listen to this.
That was tough.
Another person everybody hates right now is Evan Bouchard. So let's talk about it.
Nora's favorite.
30 how
thing
many
is,
goals?
like,
I think I was said 30.
I said 30 plus.
I'm right there with you. So all the heat, I'll take part of it. I was definitely in the 30 somethings for him.
if you look at the start of last year's season, he did the exact same thing. And he didn't start to pick it up until December into January. So I don't know if it's just a slow starter thing or he just needs to up his urgency. He's definitely gripping the stick
It's the
more
whole
than
damn team, though.
a lot of guys are. But I just like when you go into the comment section, whether it's OilersNation.com or any of our social medias. Well, unfortunately I have
You guys have to. To the average person,
just
don't go into the comment section. There's nothing there for you. Trust me.
the hyperbole on how bad he is just completely asinine.
Because they only focus in on
Or
the
they don't
bad
watch
things.
the-
And his bad things are usually pretty blatant or pretty visible because he always has the puck.
He just has to he's got to up the urgency for like crazy. He's just not engaged where he needs to be. And I think that's probably a product of confidence. But at the end of the day, I also believe he's going to turn it around. What I would say though, Stan Bowman should be ringing that agent's number right now.
7x7, 7x7. Do it,
Well,
do it.
that agent already changed his phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
He's like, yeah, I'll just so you know, Evan, I'll be in Europe till about April. Do your thing and I'll come over and take care of you.
So what do you guys make about Evan Bouchard?
Here's where, like, I think this is really one of those classic arguments where, like, the truth is somewhere in the middle because you have the people who are, you know, I'll call them just the 100% eye test who maybe have a more traditional view of what a defenseman should be, right? A defenseman should be big and play physical and block shots and get in fights and lay big hits, all that stuff. And then you have the more new age analytical side, which is like, no, like a good defenseman just gets the puck away from danger and keeps you out of trouble. And I think the eye test people are sitting here and going, look at the amount of 10 bell mistakes he makes. When Evan Bouchard makes a mistake, it is apparent and it looks like it's not even bothering him all that much. And the analytical people will say he's struggling with some bad on ice luck, shooting percentage, save percentage, all that stuff. And he's actually doing a good job with puck possession. The results just aren't coming, and math will tell you eventually it will. Eye test people are saying he looks lackadaisical. He's the cause of a lot of odd man rushes, and it feels like every second shot attempt is getting blocked. And I think it's somewhere in the middle here. Like Evan Bouchard is a very good NHL defenseman, one of the easily top 20 defensemen in the league. I think top 15, and you could certainly make an argument he's close to the top 10. He's never going to be the physical threat who goes and drops the gloves and whatever. Although I think during the playoffs, we saw him start to show a little bit of snarl.
Maybe he needs a scrap.
Yeah, maybe. I just think Evan Bouchard, when the results start coming, you live with the mistakes more. And I know people will say, like, again, every mistake he makes is a 10 bell mistake, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, it's because he's a defenseman. Like, you just notice the hiccups more versus, and Jason Demers broke it down for us, when Jeff Skinner does a bad job back checking, no one watches it because it's a half a second behind the play.
And there's the two. I know I wasn't here on Friday, but there's the two goals. I can't remember who he played.
Vegas.
Then the one that Bouchard kept to the man on the outside. You're supposed to take number 2 man. You're supposed to, but he had a forward on him. Assumed there's lack of communication. And the next goal, if Ekholm doesn't give up the puck on a very easy turnover, Bouchard is standing that close to Ekholm to give him that quick little off the boards pass to move the puck around. He's on it. It's not an easy place to pick up the puck. Evan Bouchard's standing there to get that puck. Ekholm gives up a terrible fucking turnover. And then Bouchard's caught in no man's land. And then everybody points at Bouchard. Well, Bouchard is not his fault if Ekholm gets the puck off the boards properly.
That's where I go back to when he makes these mistakes. He's standing there with his stick parallel to the ice, and he's got that look where it's like, were you paying attention?
See,
and that's where people, I think, get a little bit unfair and jump on him too much.
And he's going to run into the same thing that Darnell Nurse gets, where they focus on one mistake as this one right here, but you don't realize if you look at 3 seconds before that led to this, and he was actually in the right spot.
That's actually like my Stuart Skinner argument all the time. Like the second goal against Vancouver, or the second goal Vancouver scored on Saturday, was Matthias Janmark's fault.
What?
And Stu, unfortunately, just couldn't stop what was a hell of a shot for Hronek. So I think it's kind of
fire up the boards.
Yeah, he rimmed it around the boards. The Canucks put it right out dead center and then perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's even a little bit when Bouchard makes a great offensive play or when Stuart Skinner makes a great save, the detractors almost just sit there and go, yeah, he should do that. He should. Yeah. And then it's 10 good plays and one mistake. And it's like, can't win with this guy. He'll never win with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm just sick and tired. I feel like as a fan base, we've got to get past this he doesn't care mentality of the players just because they don't look dejected or something.
You don't get too high, you don't get too low. You keep it even keel. Yeah, that's just who he is.
And that's what I like with a guy. We like that out of our goaltender. We like that out of all these players, to have that confidence to just keep going and not get down on themselves. Because yeah, if I had Evan Bouchard down on his mistakes that he makes, the guy's never going to be able to excel offensively. He needs to be able to keep moving forward. There's something to it. And for us to have
that's what you can do.
Leon Draisaitl on this team, a guy that's been victimized and attacked for his body language since he started here,
Tyler,
it's just frustrating to hear that kind of mentality. And again, I know it's the eye test. And so that's what you're doing. You're watching them. But these guys are professionals, and they go off the game and they watch their game tape and they break their shit down and they don't like it. I get it. And but just it's a narrative that's just super annoying to me.
Because like to Dan's point, like if Evan Bouchard makes a mistake and then he sits there and whines, maybe cries a little, asks to leave the
you got to break a stick.
People would be like, what the fuck was that? Keep it in the middle. Highs are highs, lows are low.
Calm, cool dad face.
But I do think he could crank up the urgency a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there's been a couple right now where, like the first game of the season, I remember sitting there at Rogers Place. He gives up the puck to Mark Scheifele, who rips down on a breakaway, and he just goes, dude's got it.
See, I agree. And it's stuff like, I remember last year, Nuge made that play where he backchecked really hard. I think it was Braden Shen. Stick lifted. And obviously Nuge has been there for a while, and we all love him for that kind of stuff. And not many people are on him for the way he started the season as aggressively as the other guys, because fans see maximum effort in those moments and think of that. Like, you think of Bouchard, you think of the moments of like, he's just stood there like, oh, do I know how to play hockey? Like, that's what it feels like when you watch him sometimes.
I always wonder, like a play like that one in the first game, when you're tracking him back, do you kind of just let the goalie get the breakaway, or are you try and take the penalty? Are you saying I'm going to give my goalie a one try to stop this one breakaway, or do you take the penalty? There has to be a mindset between that.
I think the mindset is prevent the shot.
But
be.
not like
But I see the point
like
you're
if,
making.
if it's a wide open net and it's like a guaranteed goal, take the penalty.
Sure.
Well, if you believe in your goaltender, do you not just say, "Hey, I know this isn't easy, but do your thing"?
No, because you're the one who coughed it up on the blue line and gave him the clean breakaway.
But let's say you do that.
I see what you mean, and I understand the idea around it. But like, as fans, like we are currently discussing right now, we're just seeing a lazy effort from Bouchard on
And
that
my
play.
counterpoint would be, Rick, you played hockey before. What's easier to score on, a breakaway where you look and go, oh, fuck, 4 steps behind me, or a breakaway where you hear footsteps?
Well, I do. I'd have to watch it again because I don't know if he does not track him back, does he?
Yeah,
He's
pretty
within
much.
like
Yeah,
he's
pretty
within-
much.
lazily.
He just kind of like, he watches.
Yeah, I have to go back and
'Cause I remember
but you know
being
what I'm
like,
saying though, right? Like
Whoa.
I get
sometimes
it.
you just say, goaltender, this is on you. Like, yeah, it was my mistake. And, I'll try and back you up when you make a mistake. But isn't it better just take this one opportunity, or do we go to the power play? I
think
give you the power play.
Maybe it depends on where you are on the ice,
the
but if you're going
situation,
from
right?
the offensive blue line to your goal, you probably have enough time to make an effort to stop something.
That's just like with Bouchard. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be fine.
He will be.
And I just wish, some of that stuff, just like, man, get engaged, a little bit of fire in you. He's very casual. And I think that's also what makes him great.
But that's just his personality. He's just
That's why we need to lock
No
him in a
highs, no
cage and
lows.
poke him with a stick several hours a day.
Off topic, but Rick, do you want to participate in our game of on what day will Connor McDavid be back in the top 10 in league scoring?
I need to adjust my answer.
I honestly, the thing is, so he's 8 back now. When we did the last show, he was 10
8
back.
points back now.
Yeah, being in the top 10. He's 54th. He needs to, like, the guys in front of him will keep producing too. It's not as simple as him just closing an 8-point gap. BM said New Year's Day, it was definitely the longest of the bunch, but I don't think I don't think you need to adjust. I think there's a chance it does still take him a while.
Till New Year's Day.
I said December 10th. Dan said the 23rd. Liam said November 30th. And Rick, I wrote, has no power.
I have no power. He's how many points back right now?
8 now.
He's 8 points back. And what position?
54th.
54th.
The Oilers play 1, 2,
games from
3,
now.
4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 against Vegas,
December 3.
December 3rd.
All right, you got it, Rick. You're locked in.
Thank you.
What do I get when I win?
Nothing.
A kiss. I want to talk about a defenseman who's playing very, very well. And I love him. And anytime he ever comes up in trade conversation, it drives me nuts. Brett Kulak, currently 4 goals. My guy is just on fire right now. He's been such an underrated utility player for the Oilers on the back end. Do you agree, or is he properly rated? I was diving into, the reason I ask is I was diving into the comment section. Our boy Coombsy wrote about Brett Kulak a couple of days ago on the website, and I was reading the comment section, and a lot of people aren't seeing what I see.
I think he's properly rated. Like I do. If you watch the team game in, game out, you value him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are people who maybe are like, he's the easy pick. Like, oh yeah, that guy's underrated or whatever. But like, I can't, does he have haters?
What's his contract?
3.75.
He's too much
2?
money is essentially
7.5,
the
yeah.
detraction.
There was a time where he was always kind of packaged into deals to make cap space work.
And there's
right?
still a lot of people that are doing that.
Yeah.
Where I think that the Oilers are so much better with him on the back end than without.
Oh yeah. I would have considered in the summertime. Now
Broberg.
don't mute me, but yeah, I would have kept Broberg and I would have used him, Kulak and Cece to try and figure out that 2RD, and I would have kept Vin there. But as of right now, we don't have another lefty that can come in and take that spot. So no, he's here for the season, no problem. Like there's no way you're moving him.
Well,
Yeah,
and for me last year, like he was the first sign of the defensemen that were kind of buying into the Paul Coffey, swagger kind of mentality where he's chipping in on the plays and he's pitching in on the offense. And then we saw that not the last game, but the game before out that deflection against Vegas, and just kind of feel like, yeah, he's starting to engage more, which tells me that the defense is coming along here.
Moving along. our old friend, our old pal, Ken Holland, today was named as a hockey operations consultant with the NHL.
What does
Is that a
mean?
role before? Do we know?
It sounds like a very made up job. However,
Consultant.
I don't know.
So
He
is he
was
like
part
a
of-
therapist? Like these guys call and be like, I need your advice, Uncle Ken.
Well, so what I could tell from the release, like Ken Holland was part of bringing 3-on-3 overtime in, and they're kind of, I don't know what he's going to be doing. I'm the messenger
I
here.
think you just got to sit on that board and sit around at like a really fancy ass table. You got to go to Florida for some meetings.
Excited.
Sounds like he's going to get paid to answer emails is what he's
Yeah,
going to
Kenny's getting some expensed golf trips, boys. That's
do.
all. he
Sounds
cares
like
about.
what it is to me.
Do you think he needs an assistant,
Yes.
Brad.
Mr.
You have to golf with. You have
Oh,
to.
Brad's still got a career going on.
Isn't
you
he
get to
done?
golf with Ken, and then you just have to keep an eye on the phone and be like, "Oh, Ken, you're gonna call from Lou Lamorello. You want it? No, okay."
Yeah,
going.
we're not answering Lou's fault.
I just think of when he joined you from the hallway of a hotel room and he was like filming in a closet.
Vegas.
That's just old guy stuff.
I know. So that's why I'm answering your question is yes, he needs an assistant.
I mean, well, I'm not sure if I'm the one then,
Well,
because I feel like the old man stuff would probably be pretty much in my pocket as well.
another couple of things I got here. Andreas Athanasiou, former friend at the waiver wire, as did Matt Benning. Benning cleared. I don't know what happened with Athanasiou.
Cleared. He cleared.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Isn't he at like
Ken
4 or
Holland-
5 or
He
something?
was very
Ken
quick.
Holland
They
wasn't in
couldn't
that
see him.
position yet.
The thing I want to bring up with Matt Benning was I just thought the answer Jason Demers gave you guys on Oilers Nation every day was very funny when you asked about Matt
Yeah,
Benning.
I was like, yeah, JD, Matt Benning could find his way on. And before I could even get to Demers, was like, nope, not an NHL defenseman. You guys need an NHL defenseman, not that. All right. Also, Athanasiou sneakily almost $25 million in career earnings.
for him.
Oh,
Good for him. With
And
Benning, though, I
old
think
is
he'd
he?
be no more than a 3, and we have a handful of them, so
Defenseman?
no.
and he's dating Nelly Corda, which is wild.
I thought you were going to say Furtado.
No,
Who's Nelly Corda?
the number 1 female golfer in the world.
Oh, whoops.
I thought it was going to be one of like Tyler's golf influencers he sends me on TikTok sometimes. Those are different.
Charlie Hull. You seen her?
No.
She plays on the LPGA and just rips darts her whole round.
Okay, I think I do
Yeah,
know who
you
that
know
is.
she-
That
Yeah.
sounds like my kind of girl.
Yeah.
You know, she's got like the John Daly approach to golf.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Anyway, shout out Andreas Athanasiou.
Yeah, Matt
25
Benning.
million's no joke.
Good for
Good for you,
him.
man.
It's always funny when a player leaves your team to kind of see what happens. Because I know there's guys right now, obviously a lot of guys left this summer who are doing well, but it seems to be very few that leave Edmonton after playing like a good role here that do well anywhere else.
He was more of like a, I hope this works kind of a thing.
I liked him. I thought he was fine.
Hold on. Jeff Petrie means nothing to you?
See,
That
Petrie
was
grew up
dumb.
here, then took off when he was kind of undervalued.
I just, that one drives me crazy when I think
Second
about it.
round
'Cause it's
pick.
like, we have Justin Schultz now, so we don't need Petrie. It's like, whoa. We could have both. We could have both.
Well, I got a new car. I'm going to sell my house.
Yeah.
Why? No.
We were just slow on the whole
Everything.
turning
Just-
the hockey
I think
was
this is-
Just
changing
slow.
at that time.
I think there's a reason Steve Tambellini's never had another job in the NHL.
Wasn't he like a consultant or something?
He's never been a GM ever since.
Yeah.
I don't even think an AGM or anything.
I don't
We
know.
also
no.
have that track record as a franchise as well.
Yeah.
Good
we
for
did.
us.
Anyone sad we didn't get Dante Fabro?
Well, I am just because
Florida.
you and Zach made me think that it was a great idea.
I think
I'm
it's a
not
great idea.
convinced. I don't know. I don't think
Free.
it's a terrible
I think-
idea. Not free.
Kind of free.
It would have ate up cap space.
You
Like, I
don't
think
have
we
the cap
need-
space.
If we're gonna go to the final again, we need a honest to goodness 2 RD, and I don't know if Fabro was the guy.
He was a 1 RD for a bit in Nashville.
and he's been healthy
Was
scratched
that with Yossi?
this season. How many games has Nashville played? 15?
Yeah, he was healthy scratch for like 5 games.
He only played 6 games. this
Gustav
season.
Forsling was on waivers once.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Facts are stats.
Facts are stats.
Yeah.
They've played 16 games, Liam, as of Tuesday's recording. The Nashville
So
Predators.
Nashville actively decided they did not know how to play this guy for 10 of their games.
5 of their games.
He only played 6 games.
I thought he played 10.
Played 6. How many games did he play?
Guys,
I love how both these guys have computers in front of them too.
I gotta Google it. Hey,
pointing at
Bagnall,
black
can you Google this for me? So far this season, he's played 6 games.
How many points?
There's goose eggs across the board.
Minus
Minus
very
3.
few, probably.
That you can't do
Yeah,
that though.
yes, I
You have
can.
to look at the player, and I think the player is good.
I think
So why are they?
it's
Why
fine
would
too.
they? Where? So when the season started, he was with Yossi.
Yep.
And things have gotten very sour very quickly, apparently. And how so?
Rebuilding.
Why? Like, what is?
They got this guy, Michael Del Gaizo, not Michael Del Zotto, different version of him.
Del Gaizo.
Mark Del Gaizo, who they kind of wanted to start playing. So they flipped Luke Shen over, and that's their blue line now. Or they flipped Yossi over, sorry.
So you're sad. Columbus picked him up.
I thought it was like, that's a guy who we talked about last year at the deadline. Like, oh, would you trade a second round pick for Dante Fabro? And for him to be available for a free shot,
$2.5 million.
yeah, which you could have gone into LTIR. And I get the argument of like, oh, accrue cap space, all that. Yes. But also, you're one player injury away from not accruing cap space anymore anyways. So there's that, or basically one injury away. I know you'd have a bit of wiggle room. And two, if the Fabro thing doesn't work, when you get to the deadline, you just throw him in the deal and say, hey, if you want us to give you a first round pick for whoever, you got to take the last month of Fabro. And it's like,
I think I saw on Twitter though, someone told you that if we got rid of Dermott and swapped Ryan for Philp, then we can get Fabro without going to LTR. No,
you could have
probably was,
afforded
yeah.
everything. Yeah, Puckpedia laid it out to me. You could afford it by going into LTIR with Kane, and then when Kane comes back, you just send down a forward and your cap compliance still.
Yeah.
So you could have made it work the whole year.
Moot point.
Moot
As
point.
it
so really what they're going to do is try and take what we have right now as long as possible.
Yep.
And get as big a name as possible at a later date.
Correct.
I just, from what I was reading about it, it just seemed like he would have been an upgrade from what we currently have, but not the answer.
Yeah,
That makes
that's.
sense.
I just did not want him to get in the way of bringing in a top end defenseman or whatever defenseman we're going to end up bringing in.
Moving along, sticking with defensemen, there's some names that have hit the potential rumor or hit the rumor mill as potential movers. One, our old friend Cody Ceci, last year of his deal. San Jose Sharks, they stink. Rasmus Ristolainen, Ivan Provorov, and Cam Fowler could all be available between now and the deadline. Tyler, you mentioned Ivan Provorov yesterday on Real Life.
Yeah. I, again, talking on ice fit here. This is a guy left shot, but plays the right side. If you wanted to put Kulak with Nurse, have Provorov play on the third pairing with Emberson, you could do it. If you wanted to put Provorov with Nurse, which I think would be a decent fit, you could do it. So it's a very, very thin rental market. And I think you should, to an extent, be looking at kind of everyone. And Provorov, again, has a good track record of being a quality NHL defenseman.
Currently making $675, Tyler.
Yeah, he'd have to be retained by half. But again, pending UFA. On Columbus, he's only 4.5 though.
Okay.
Because they got him retained. LA picked up money as part of the Cal Peterson deal. So he's 4.5 with Columbus. So if Columbus kept half, he'd be 2.25, which the Oilers could easily fit in at the deadline.
I just wonder if we'll see a trade anytime early in the season. The only team that it seems to do it routinely is Vancouver. They sent fucking Daniel Sprong back to the Kraken after only 9 games played. Apparently the owner didn't want to pay for him down in the minors.
They were very
Knows
excited to
$1
get
million.
him too.
Yeah, they were.
Bro, if you look at his numbers, it's the weirdest career ever. Because it's like every year this dude goes and scores like 15 plus goals and he just can't stick. So he had 18 goals last year with Detroit and then nobody wanted to sign him. Year before that, 21 goals with the Kraken. Nobody wanted to sign him. Year before that, 14 goals in 63 games with Washington. Nobody wanted to sign him. Year before that, 13 goals in 42 games. Nobody wanted to sign him.
I wonder what that is. Maybe he's a dick.
I was going to say, maybe the juice isn't worth a squeeze.
There
Maybe.
was some Canucks fans on Twitter saying that the locker room fit wasn't all that good. So maybe he is just a dick.
I don't know. We're
Stalls
obviously
are too
guessing.
small. He's too big. Doesn't fit in a stall. They're weird.
Mm-hmm.
That BC living.
We're going to do something a little bit different with the betting segment this week. The betting segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Oilersnation Radio. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the code NATION. The code is NATION. NATION.
Asian.
So what we're going to do today, boys, I'm going to give you a little bit of info leading into this, and then we're all going to pick a leg of our parlay. We haven't done this before. We like to do it personally, but we don't do it on the show, but we'll do it today. So today we've got the money line. The Oilers are heavily favored on the money line at minus 225. And I last looked. The puck line, meaning the Oilers have to win by 2 or more, they're plus 120. The game total is set at 6. Over is minus 115. Under is minus 105. And I'm specifically looking at you, Dan. If you want to bet on the Islanders money line, that is plus 180. Currently at home, the Edmonton Oilers have averaged just 1.88 goals per game at Rogers Place this season, which is about 2 fewer goals per game than their average over the past 3 years. Last season, they ranked second in the NHL in home scoring, netting 4 more goals in well over half of their home games. Meanwhile, the Islanders are ranked 32nd in goals per 60 over their last 10 games, and they've been shut out 4 times. With all of that information now soaking in your brains, boys, how are you going to bet on this? What is your leg of our what is your leg for our 5-way parlay?
Islanders money line. Just joking. Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, 3+ shots.
Victor Arvidsson, 3+ shots.
Yeah, added it in. Liam?
And I can't do power play points. Okay. Come back to me. Let me
I'm going to say Evan Bouchard gets us an assist.
Oh boy. Well, there's the losing part.
Ouch.
Wow. Okay. Rick, you got a leg?
Hasn't even heard the
Yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling up and down here. I know this is on the other team, but I've been dabbling in some gambling lately, and I noticed that Noah Dobson likes to hit his number. So let's go Noah Dobson over 2.5 shots on goal at +125. It's also a nice number for us.
This is getting juicy already. 2 more legs.
All right. I'm going to throw in Connor McDavid over 1.5 points.
All right, Liam.
Hyman goal.
Ooh, that's a juicy one. That'll juice us up for sure.
What we at, Tyler?
Are we going to put the puck line in too?
No.
No, let's not get greedy. Let's
Okay.
not get selfish.
So this is 20-1.
You want to throw the puck line on top of that?
They've won 3 of 4, the Islanders.
Puck line makes it 30-1.
They haven't. What?
Noah Dobson has hit his 2.5 shots in 80% of his last 5 games and 10 games.
Well, just an FYI, I will not be putting Noah Dobson in my parlay work. I refuse to cheer for anybody that isn't wearing copper and blue.
No,
I didn't say anything about goals.
Oh,
You're cheering for Stuart Skinner to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also cheering for the others to block him before they get to him. Sorry.
I'm not.
You can throw
I
blocks
feel
in there if you
nah,
like.
He's just
I will.
ups-
I'll
he's
change
upset 'cause
mine
things
and I'll
don't
do
go so well for
Nurse
him in
2.5 blocks instead of Dobson.
That goes against the spirit of the game.
There you go.
The spirit of the game is I am all Oilers and nothing else. That is my spirit.
Good for you. I
Yeah.
respect
I'm
it.
surprised he didn't take 2 Janmark points.
Any
It's not
single
available because he's junk.
any single bets you like against the Islanders?
Riding on that Dobson one.
Yeah, I'm going to probably join you on that one too.
Go Noah. We believe in you. This is Noah Dobson Nation.
Don't tell Jay.
Don't tell Jay about that.
Here's some extra ones I
Go
like.
ahead.
Leon Draisaitl, power play point, +180.
For
Zach
a single
Hyman,
point?
power play point, +270.
Have you seen our power play?
Ryan
lately?
Nugent-Hopkins, 25% in November. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, +300. 1 power play point. McDavid, +130. I wouldn't hit Bouchard. He's +205 though.
You would take a Nuge power play point before a Bouchard one?
Nuge got one last game.
I don't care. Bouchard sees the puck probably 40% more time than Nuge does.
Facts or stats.
Yeah, that's an estimation.
Another one I like here, and it's just if I'm just straight chasing the juice, Zach Hyman, 2 or more goals +900.
He's kind of due for a big night.
So I'm just like, if I'm chasing, just a little sprinkle, just a little kiss. And there you go. Open an account.
Are we
with-
getting off the whole Skinner shot train?
Skinner shot?
Yeah, he got benched last game, so I'm just gonna sit this one out for Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, he was.
That's why
It was a given there for a minute.
That's where I went with Arvidsson instead.
I had a Arvidsson anytime goal against Vancouver. That was tasty.
Oh, that is nice. What is
That kind of
tonight?
it was +200, no plus 300 on.
Tonight he's +275.
So it was just like it kind of saved some of my other, like when I really got in the weeds, kind of saved me from those. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on huge range markets, whatever the sport, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We're going to move into keys to victory to close out the podcast. I'm going to talk to you about the Jasper merch the boys are wearing. If you are watching the video version of this podcast, you'll see that Tyler and Liam dressed the same today. They are wearing the Jasper Bears. It's the minor hockey fundraiser gear that Kennedy made. She did a great job. They look fantastic. What is Liam doing?
We need a bit of a
mid-
catwalk here from these
Now you
two.
can see it.
Mid dressing.
I'll get to the camera.
There you go. Here goes Liam.
coming into your
Watch it if
living
you're
room.
in the camera.
There you go. Wow.
He is very
Stand up a
tight to
little
the
bit.
camera.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Now you get the full effect. If you are watching the video
Flex, there
version,
you
this
go.
is why you subscribe to the Oilers Nation YouTube
The little flex there.
for
Like
moments like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's the crew necks that the boys are wearing. There's also a T-shirt there. We are raising some money for Jasper Minor Hockey. Let's get the kids back on the ice so they don't have to drive all the way out to Hinton for practices and games, etc. There's also a GoFundMe link in there as well if you just want to make a donation directly, or you can also just help us by sharing the link. That goes a long way. You can post that on socials, which Oilers Nation now on Blue Sky. If you've made the move over, go follow us there. But we're going to be posting everywhere. Got it? Good. So some keys to victory. The Oilers 4-5-1 in their, the Islanders 4-5-1 in their last 10. They lost their last game out. They've got a -7 goal differential. They've got a bunch of players that are not playing tonight. Duclair, Barzal, Adam Pelech, Alex Romanov. Feels like a trap.
They lost, as Thomas Hickey told us today, they lost the entire left side of their blue line in one game.
That is special.
That is a tough night out. Yeah. So keys to victory, Liam, what do you got?
Special teams.
Special
The Oilers
teams.
win the special teams, they will win this game. Islanders special teams also junk. Both sides. Yeah.
Dan, you got keys to the game?
It's always my key to the game. It's just getting shots on the net. You saw it with Vancouver in the Vancouver game. The Oilers just kept putting the rubber in that direction between the red posts, and good things happen. So just keep putting the rubber on the net and good things will happen.
Rick, what do you got?
I like my 5-on-5 play, man. We just got to get out there and win 5-on-5. The special teams will take care of itself eventually. Go out there and win the game 5-on-5.
Tyler?
I'll go ahead and say Stuart Skinner. I think the Islanders are generally, again, Ilya Sorokin. I mean, come on. They'll keep pucks out of their net, but the Oilers offense is rolling enough where they should be able to get 2, 3, 4 in this one. But that means you need Stu to let in 3 or less. So, I'll say Skinner is my key to victory.
Because it's Ilya Sorokin, I want more of what they got on Saturday night against Vancouver. They scored some greasy goals against Vancouver. They were right in the crease, right in the tough areas
Second
of the
chance
ice.
efforts.
Second chance efforts. Go out there, get greasy. Because I'll tell you, the garbage goals are beautiful to me. They
I have
don't
a
all
fact.
have to be. Is it also a stat?
It is a stat.
Go ahead.
So the Islanders and Oilers, neither team has lost at home since 2019 when the Oilers beat the Islanders in New York. One player scored 4 goals that game for the Oilers. Do you remember who it was?
Jordan Eberle.
2019.
4 goals.
No, Jordan Eberle.
Was it James Neal?
The real deal, James Neal.
We launched a shirt.
He is
Sure
one
did.
of 2 players to score 4 goals since then for the Oilers in a regular season game. Drysdale was the other one, but Drysdale did it in the playoffs too, right? Against Vegas?
Yep.
So Drysdale's done it twice.
Any other keys to victory real quick against the Islanders?
Nope.
Get greasy out there. Respect the blue lines. Take care of the puck. Time for a score prediction. Let's wrap up the podcast. NationGear.ca. Go get yourself some Jasper Minor Hockey fundraiser gear. The boys look great. Very handsome. Tyler's got the gray. Liam's got the black one on. Very, very handsome. Score prediction, Rick.
6-2 Edmonton.
Tyler.
3-1.
Liam.
4-3 Edmonton Oilers.
This year,
5-1 Edmonton Oilers.
I'm going to go with a 9-1 Oilers victory. It is going to be a big one tonight at Rogers Place. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the victory. We'll talk to you on Friday.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.